for Schindler. Has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome to Pint Size Preview, sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing on Huddersfield Town's opponent this season. And in this episode, we're looking at Rotherham, another fun yo-yo club. And they're crying lightning this season, or will there be fake tales of San Francisco? That was delivered terribly, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. But we caught up with New York Talk, and here's how they thought their season would pan out.
My name's Matt from the New York Talk Rotherham United podcast, covering all things Rotherham United. The thing that could help us, I think, will be a good base for us this season is our defence. Last season in League One, we I think were the best defence. Last time we went down in the Championship, our defence was pretty good actually. It was just the goals that let us down. We lost like 19 games by a single goal. And it weren't like 3-2 thrillers, it was generally 1-0 that cost us. So defence is a good base. It has been a very, very good base. We've lost a couple of players, but Paul Warne's always been pretty good at bringing in the right defenders. Richard Wood is a leader, and I think he'll definitely help with that. Obviously, like I mentioned, then scoring goals has been a huge problem in the Championship. Michael Smith last time out I got 10, something like that. So even though he got lost in League One, he's never really scored. So I don't think we'll miss him that much from that point of view. Tom Eaves will get some, Colin Norrister will get some, not many. So if we want to stay up, we're going to need to find a solution to the goal scoring problem. I think for most fans, Paul Warne is the right man. I think most fans would let Paul Warne stay for as long as he wants, as long as he's happy, and he seems to be. He knows how to get out of League One. It takes a lot out of him emotionally and mentally, but I think he is the right guy, and for the foreseeable future he is. On transfers, we know our place in the pecking order. It's been very, very, very slow, our transfer business. And I don't think we'll be anywhere near done until the very, very end. So, I don't know, to be honest with you. It's going to be very, very tough, very, very tough. But we're always hopeful as Rotherham fans. The player to watch out for, assuming he stays with us, is Ben Wiles, a youth product he's just a sensation. He's destined for better things. He's destined for the Premier League. Such a good player. Burnley have been interested, a couple of other people interested. It's a sort of attacking midfielder. He's 22 now, so properly coming into his own, and he's one of our own. And it always makes you very, very popular.
Cheers, lads. So, Rotherham, interesting. Paul Warne, one of my favourite managers, I think, out there. Key players, I mean, Ben Wiles at the moment, still currently at Rotherham. If they can hold on to him, then he's going to be their shining light this season, I think. A lot of interest from Burnley, though. I think they've had 3 bids rejected, and I wonder if they'll go in for one more. It's interesting. They lost Smith and Ladapo, who kind of got most of their goals last season. Smith, I think, was a bit of a kick in the teeth going to Wednesday, but I think Ladapo, it sounds like Warne wasn't that fussed, because it sounded like it was a bit of an unsettling atmosphere for him in the squad. And I think they've tried to replace those goals with Connor Washington and Tom Eaves, which I don't know if that will cut it at the Championship, unfortunately, for Rotherham. But they've strengthened a lot in defence. They've brought in McCart, Humphreys, Bramall and Chiozza, so all quite young though, so it'd be interesting to see how they show up in this league. But it's going to be interesting. Paul Warne, does he get that budget that he needs to compete at this level? Probably not. And for me, surely he's going to be asking the question soon, as if he can't kind of keep Rotherham up there in the Championship on this budget, is he going to have to start looking elsewhere and move on, because they just become the Norwich of League One, basically. They're favourites to go down. They're favourites to finish bottom. And for me, they've not strengthened enough, so I can almost agree with that. I think they'll definitely be in that bottom 3. I like Paul Warne, and I'd like them to potentially push and stay up, but it's going to be tough for them, I think. Great away kick, though. Have a look at that away kick. Brady, what are your thoughts on Rotherham coming up this season?
I think it's tricky, isn't it? Because again, you touched on it, they're a yo-yo club. I think my prediction is for them to be, one of the bottom 6 teams. teams, but I do like Paul Warren. I think he's a good coach. I think he can get a lot out of the players, but I think it's just it's tricky, when you're a newly promoted team. And again, we touched on in one of our Norwich episodes, it's kind of like, what do they need to do to, stop getting relegated from a championship and coming straight back up. So, maybe this is the season. I think they'll give it a good fist of it. Like I say, I've got them near the bottom of the table, but I think they'll be the one kind of fighting to maybe the last playoff play, so the last relegation place, or just staying up. And maybe this is the season where they just do it. But I think it'll be a long, tough season for them, as it normally is in the Championship, unfortunately.
Yeah, are you agreeing with Brady there, Matt?
I've got in my notes here, Tom, I've got the Northern Norwich, and I don't know why, but sometimes it feels like Rotherham are quite happy to get promoted and get relegated. So I think the last time they went down, it felt like it was almost a sigh of relief in some ways. A Huddersfield Town relegated from the Premier League, sigh of relief. I think if you look at them, that midfield trio of Rathbone, Barlaser, Ben Wiles is actually good enough to be a top 10 midfield. It's very good. It's just the rest of it. Michael Smith, he's a big loss, but another big loss is Hikwe, the centre-back. He's been very key for them, decent player. And they've also lost Romani Edmonds-Green. And they've not done an awful lot in terms of decent replacements. So as it stands today, I would predict Rotherham to be bottom 3. But like I say, that midfield on its day, that midfield's as good as a lot in the Championship. It really is a good midfield. You just kind of think, well, who's going to put the ball in the net at the other end and who's going to keep it out? And that's the real trick with Rotherham. If they can bring in one or two before September, like Brady says, Paul Warren's a good coach. He's very likable. Rotherham are very likable. So, I'd like them to stay up and make a fist of it. It's a good away trip, is Rotherham. It's a decent little stadium, isn't it? And, it's just over the hill. So best of luck to them. But as it stands today, I can't see them getting out of the bottom 3. But I hope that changes.
Yeah. Are you giving the Millers a chance, Dave, this season? What do you think?
Like you, I really, really like Paul Warren. If I could recommend another podcast on this one, it would be Who to Be a Terrier, naturally. But if I could recommend another one, it would be Moment of Truth on BBC Sounds, which follows Carl Robinson and Paul Warren over the course of last season. And Warren comes across incredibly well, and you get a sense of just how difficult it is to be Rotherham manager and work with what you've got. I think they've lost too many. I think they've not replaced them in the squad at the moment. I think it's going to be another tough season, but I would love them to stay up. I would absolutely love them to stay up. I think Warren is the perfect Rotherham manager, and I think Rotherham, when they have to replace him at some point, either because he gets poached or because they have a Kerbishley moment and decide to get rid, I think they're really going to struggle to replace him. So, yeah, I can't see anything other than a struggle. I would love them to finish 4th bottom. I really, really would. But can they do it? I don't know.
Well, there we have it. That was another pint-sized preview sponsored by Magic Rock, and that was covering Rotherham.